Abusua sam wachi bi mo ka ba de ba bedwomdwom de so no so abo ma pounds ma insia ne fa safina de afidi ato mo ka ba biem ichichiu ene se pinsim mu bre na aso no ensem osisi wo man mu na ye ni mpanifo esi hu nkonwa eto ato adwen ehwese ne a ye nyina betimi abo ama wo man betimi apa ya pantoma dada no aguni afa ntoma foforo na yetimi de akoya nim ama wo man aye krabehwe na aye anigiman Midini kaba na ye heard ni mu say ye pim so an ye krono or text messages I'll be to me that bring 1760 email kaba kba@majoonline.com and also with me asene Twitter eye kojo kaba KOJOKABA na with me ede agentwa no etimi atoa so na ensam do no na ekoso wo mamu Nsamudo do no a ebi ani ehu ebi ani enyan papa nanso so no Nyankopon pe ani ohene ebi wo ho awte a na ho adwiri a doctor for strike ebesi sabri etisen ebedu sabri sen na hyenetie Yankwa homa so o Dr. Penny ya ono ene idwam training ni ma a doctor for Kabom ko Ghana Medical Association. Dr. Poku adusai na yene ni nkodi nkomo. O Dr. Penny ye mo akwa ba biemu o.
Ya ajo.
O hunam boko de.
Adom, me de me.
Ghana for do na so wo mo hunye o.
Sa.
Ai wo mo so wo kwa ya sabia a doctor for ni ho a Omo ene se wi Nyankopon firi ho apomudin de omo na ya omo hwe no muni ho
O se Nyankopon na pese e hu hia
oh wana se mu hu hia
oh mini na e tin ka be pese mu bre wonte
sa oh mu hu hia pa o
nena na o kan de anka minimu
mu hu hia pa na doc ebesi sabri eti say nko twetwe amoni aban twetwe ni ade se motu atie nka betimi aba fom na motimi ato amunyuma so na eti say
the challenge is say officially until you enje ye koso na emergency any inpatient na outpatient omomo eyare ye kese no ya mama kufi
na aban ede atudwa sen wo mguso ane mo twetwe nkomo na no kwesi ada o mampani ne asofo mpanifo kohyia wo Independence Square ni ye bompa de amoman no wo kasa fa mo nsemi hu a na wo kasa ha ne yie pa anti na ochi mu amni mu besi nkonya na motimi ato adwe na nka strike mu de akona wie in fact o say quote worrisome just say ha ne yie papa sa kasa pusu mo wo bibi hu kakra
Binia, Ghana Medical Association, your company inform down your council. Na, for my company, the better be debating on air. So far, officially, the NTV and such as an order, a yeduma. The Cocacha and such as no yeduma. That. Long before this year, before the election, your country and such as no order. Enyejuma it was all the number 2 kwam this week ye ni na yepe enti no orutu ekwam na eso cancel na nia yes we consider na de say na nia
enra anwumre wo your sister station Joy FM na health minister Mami Sheriaite enemy nua be my advancements and chinkomo wo kire mu say mo strike you know say you know quote and unquote, it is not alarming. It has not reached an alarming proportion yet. Into a wrong impression, and I say, and your papa say, you never talk about things who must strike, no, a hard drain, a mouth fire, 4 choir, Sabia, Yanko for your money idea. I say, me, what?
Very unfortunate, say, the whole minister of first, as a strike, and yet alarming. Yeah, and better strike and be alarming. Until the shot, then they can get you know, say, and have patience or more. Omo yare no eso anam de hwe omo mu da wo de hwe omo na the minister say we go to where I wish you I say yeah alarming no be so yeah obese yeah alarming there now in place obese the yeah alarming meanwhile almost said the politician kasa president appeal to us no can some be the minister as well can it also do alarming data when they are no need to say you but some minister say minister alarming data be do answer na what situation anything the Ghana for also mbusa no me de the medical intention that the do alarming stage na I want you na be into one de do aka mu also mbusa no it dey here say me mbusa no of the alarming stage the you did the man president aircraft I mbusa earlier on so the consequence the minister for health aircraft o kan be no buma na ya ko eduma na say be achi yana da bi jama mwana Muhammad Biti
yebedi hu nkomo na yeso wa kan ba bi se Nyankopon ene wo betua ndisi for kapa so mo mfa buo ma doctor for no kresa
oh me say okay Ecclesiasticus Bible versions Libya oka ho say omo respected doctors nya dade ya no onya na meka Bible asere na meka say obi say adentina ya take ba ona so sa ba na omo kan okay Bible Ecclesiasticus 38
Ecclesiastes 38
okay
Ecclesiastes 38 ana
anya Ecclesiastes so Ecclesiastes
and so Bible
is not in the formal Bible now no will be no some of the collections are Catholic for no
ayo
but say give respect to the physician because you need him and the king shall reward him which is the king shall pay him and I pass the honor all can say as those who don't respect physicians and all coming to be kutuno outside then let me say to you man is what was there that I was reading
Ecclesiasticus
yes 38
Ecclesiasticus 38
1 to 15 okay I said 12 and 13 now depends on the use American version now it's so clear English use King James no more how it is interpreted English clear we see in the end I was just discussing what is there
doc minim say na ochi mi ada say na ochi mienu ana na ochi kretwa mu a mini udi nkomo wa fidie so no asem we mi bisa na nieti a ema misan ko bisa no ye efi na nu fiada memrenda ekosi enra enkasaye bi efi amanyofo bi ya wo andisi mu kire se strike ekoso ne wanya mu nkwa mu de no de kan wo he judiciary pharmacies ni hu nkro ne ba ekoso no a dama obi no he ohintadua kire no wo piapiamo na eya dane amanyosem minim sa asem we mabisa o scientists have asemi bie mu a ya net wo say
the thing so we problem no yen fa ne say o obi ne actually no say odi obi do ka sabi unu nyan senti no kwaju sika ba go to sika mo asa do actually no afere ndo mu tie sika man na so mu jiri so bi shekire a afere enti wo hwe prison wo hwe cruise teacher unu teacher so bi do organ o ya pharmacy na doctor na ko mu nyina bom na amonka amanyukuru na hekire no amonka amanyukuru na hekire na mama wansa say do so say amanyukuru bi ana amanyesem bi otumi specific mama nansa
almost MPP for na epiapiamo
aha enti sa group ni nyina ya MPP ene ndi ni vote boy kai prison protect for the all teachers edodo doctors pharmacists tewu na grass omo nko strike ni na omo nyina bu tie ena omo nyina wo MPP ena se MPP kokor se omo bu sa iradia ene na ya semsem
ene na asemsebe doc na da bon krata bi di aba kire se mo strike amo kro no epoe mantam mu a doctor fonka bom ko kire se national leadership no sikasem no mani di akire dodo na salaries ni etuama mo eti say sa allowance ni market premium ni ade ne kwa de a monko adwuma na monko adwuma sa sikasem no ebetumi assorting out nti omo de womo bekọ adwuma e wa poemantem framantem so sa na womo pache wo de bonkrata bi abam pacho sa na mo front breaki
poemantem ni
oh mama nhwe krata yi Eastern region Eastern region Eastern region Kofodia ene important
oh bi
ya krata be ampo
yo propaganda ni nema bibiri sade no anye so massive ni say even one hospital kula no so munye djuma anye enough concern the whole country je on for ka se ka de da ya report me to na me ye djuma e na de me ya nkasa ye nye djuma ye say emergencies na ya say inpatient na any hospital whether emergencies inpatient it's a propaganda ni eya empese distract here master will say on with the automatic doors mbedi epocracy so to boom enti obisi salary now allowance on chair now so do allowance but when you say doctors better because we are also on the ground Eastern regional what can you say you are on the ground you are there people are there
hello doc Dr. Bogod is out here nka
I'm so monka
aha em say ho no ya ntini papa wa homa no senka ya tia ko betimi esen susu ama ebiem
me say sa propaganda na dey say ni amo madam doctor dia o say ono ankasa dia on go strike da adentia strike ni lebi soro ankaneba yewu that is for him
okay
ono ankasa na so awaka da kura nkama wenum ebe shake enye le kura ebe chere say propaganda no dey ya na say musika beti fele reprechia meta na malawanji tia ni se buka ho asemana o wutikani o musika do so do ntimi ntebi say epokura enso to edibum dey can say menyili we are ground sabotage ready enye no kre you say ready and you are monitoring the situation. We don't know what cancer you say again. Assuming say nipa 1 or 2 we could the can. You know, any beti as my can. As my can say abandi abandi chair can yen. Now let me can say if you want once in hospital, kwana is almost yeduma because I see you order and yet enough a case for concern. I say general. Ubi over you be done even one hospital class or money juma. It should be the concern of the whole country. The law can idea. You better be a bit distracted. Here, Nimna, Yakan Hatma, Yaka.
Enti, near Betty ama a doctor for a mubesan aqua juma mubi one say Musikano, a bambi chiamamo.
Many others together. Yeah, they're together actual as in sign. It is will be any.
The artist in Yami Adoma, watching a Ukuno, Money Labor Commission for Winsham, Battery and Cressa.
Minyanti. Oh, Ghana Medical Association, your office, your line of fire, started all over the country. Women, into what Accra, and I did say Accra is Ghana. Now, the decision, I mean, say, we are the executive of the American Association. As today, as I speak with you, Minya official correspondent, I said, which year already, yes.
The crackroom, Dr. Poko do say, fair wages for Casama for Ura Elankra, and they who call the Bonkra Tenwa, one also the Atuja say, a doctor for ne, Massa Mupese Muna fair wages for near more strike, near the betting Muna, a Juma, a Diasho Mosas Womber say. Edwumafuo ni titiri o makatwa ho nsam ne ade no wo mbehwa mamra na edwuma no nye niamu ye ne behunu na wo mo sheki wo mo kra
saa de no ne ano inform about no ono anya na no ye edwuma eno bubu ko appear Wages and Service Commission
GBC
of improvement and now better services
no GBC
no But did you attend several times? The American say, or say authorities, no Mampania say, I bring some of these people to order. There's one case that a Mampani, police will say, encouragement. There's one case that I'm collecting so, Shabufoka and some more, Ediakel. A better me, encouragement. And you know, I say, Emrano, or no, Piero, to some American volunteers. Piero, committee to argue, oh, good. Technical aspects of things, he doesn't know. Either in height to insult or insult to be paid. They are not the what a philosopher something. This is what the paymaster.
Enti sa nkrofo no a wo so mo kasa sa na yi die president pamo mo ane chese betimi ama makoma kra ba form.
The can't president empamo. President they do ba ho so whoever employed that person or say adwuma say group run like this no person. Yes. Say adwuma na be office of the president person here or the kata opening kata boko osusu di diatem na so opening na ehwe na di diatem a say munya na obere nya kire mungo di diatem sa na ba na ebia no emwa so bi mo bufu kra mo may more resolved to continue the struggle. And you know, some person you can't tell no boko. You should stop all those insinuations or near the other. And yes, they make it more resolved. If you're not there, you know them. Yeah, I want you to
Yeah, can say there. Say Dr. Poku do say it was interesting. Ne Asabia na.
I don't know what delay me. I feel I'm maybe. I feel I'm some atari na. Odo kasa tenti. Asuri anti be ko ju.
And ye meja na watimi aso atari no watimi akọ adwuma. Anope ye da ase papa.
Brother.
Dr. Poku do say you jomtreni de ma Ghana Medical Association. Ye ka say no so abom aponsima eduonu 9 or Adom TV. Ye da so awo ye strike mu. Ye be court. Ni akọgusa adwumafo no omo court wono se wo mo so edi asemoa ene wo mo so wo mo strike. Enti strike ni say ma mehwe to metimi akan a na ya no abo amwai. UTAG was strike. A doctor for was strike. Pharmacist for was strike. A judge for encrofo no oni omo ye adwuma no so was strike. Hwan biom. Monkai me. Hwan. Said not for the one calling of one. Not gratini teu nti 7. Wo mo so ekos omo de ndi omo suspended. Asa. Nti at least 5 currently on strike. Hey. Nothing. Yeah, bako judge for no hosisi a na nye judges per se ne mu adwumafo a omo ne omo ye adwuma no ma me hwe text messages a aba hey Dominic Jamaji so ko fama nhwe ni wane brami or say I'm afraid about the way Mahama-led government is handling the labor front. If we do not take care, the same government, and here are, and Yamankoe, Agaras, or the Freemimbila. Now, Mamma call opening Francis Dakwa, one on a union chairman, Brakwa, you, near Dakwa, Brakwa, union chairman, Edema, a judicial services labor union for one year training. Opening Brakwa, I'm watching you. Oh, who number called here?
Mumpa bonti me hoye papa mi na sobua papon
yesu ye gina na so papa te se abwa papon de anopai ye ba wase ya ye bokro ye ka eku a woda no a wo mo ye ho amo adwumakuo ben a
no adwumakuo no ni aye judicial service aye court wo o mani ni na adwumafo wo mu womo no elum wo mani
na ye ka sa adwumafo no a me pa chopi ajagefo a na temuafo a wo mutene dwemu di asem no wo mo ka mo ho
ajagefo nka ho ye ni adwumafo ye boa ajagefo no wo mo ye wo adwuma
to obi te se
bia wo court bia wo se interpreter wo court like wo registrar wo beliefs wo se adwumafo no nyina nka bom kuo no na memeda no
Pepa cho betimi asinipi se anope a mene wo kasai sa Judicial Service Workers Union mo so mo de mo pen mo typewriter ene mo nkro ne banyina agu fom a mo ate atua mo strike.
Yo me dashi sa kasa no de yenya amfantuga awie enedi awie ene yehia adwumayefo ni nyina nokora ni yame anim emra yama aban kosi endra so o meka bibi kire na yante bibia no mpanimfo yehia ya bo ya ka bibi esie na enei ene awie ye behia adwumayefo ne de ato nya ya dwene ho ye de beto adwumayefo n'anim na ya friends and yes ye free enei eko no enkosi mra ye behia adwumayefo ne de me kasa metumi atra wo ne ya na kuntompo yanhia adwumayefo ne yankan kire wo mu enwie ansa bibi ne ametumi ade atoga
Ebacho awie ebre ben sa na sanhia mu no bekoso
wie no mienu pepepe
ati wado asempa
adwumayefo ne nyina wo nkran ha
sania na wo ka se modi to aban anim ma na besi nra se nko kasa na aban ankasa de se sania mpanifo se ne se obanya nsafo yebunu be ye nka na asem wabu ye be na ye be ha ni besi onomienu ade ne ade potenti a sanhia mudie ni nsema modi to aban anim no ebe nam so ma adwimpo bi betimi ahia wo na wie ade na mu bi se firi aban ho
ye bi se firi aban se bi enye aketuantumu ana ihe se ye nkotra sinhihye bibiara dabida ade a ye gida dada allowance so bibi intade a ye share bi adwuma ye from clothing allowance ye wo leave allowance ye wo fuel allowance ye wo other allowances bi a aban ademai na aban di bemai a odemai by way of subvention ademai adwumaku refer judicial service enti nkosibra aban ade sa pension bebre adwumaku no allowance wo ma si ye second yensenka eno na ye kasa afi atwa mu no ebi ka mu afi nsu beti sambre subvention peswa kra esesa aban edema adwumaku no omfa emfa mai ye ka subvention a ye pese ye chance akohoma bosika eye emrekuni no ehye aban se omfa ma judicial service eno ho asem ye ken so the ma judicial service and the judicial service betumi diam etua sa allowance sia ye ken nyina diam adwumayefo no eno na mba nti aya ye ni abre no
bubu nkonta no a be bosome dodo sen na sa allowance sia kakam
sɛ me di kankan no allowance ni bi ho a yetua no preko pɛ afi no mu gina afi ba ko a wonji bi akyi sa afi atwam afi ebesi ni bi nti allowance ni bi no senka busumi edi kan ana sɛ busumi no mu no sa mra na nka afi second nyina ana allowance ni bi on so a quarterly busumi miense bi a afi senka seska no ni nyina no ai na ne ka no sɛ afi atwam no ye sa mo beka ya afi atwam so ye sorry gina den eka sa nsem ya aban no edisend by ekabi a besi assembly akamu aye ndiae
ora brakwa Ghana 4% masem no wo moti mase ye papa sa allowance si a wo kan clothing leave allowance ni ade no susu ampa se sa allowance si ama mo adwuma sese mokọ na mokoyo ebo ajaji fo mo mu bu nsem de ma o man Ghana yi no entimi enkoyi ana na sese adwuma no muntimi nye
kwani ami edidija ani muna na nam minia edidija ani muna na nam sabe yaketua de ye ntumi nka aketua ne de nya de ye gikura ntumi fa dufi
aketua ne
allowance su na ebo ye baba kakra nka ebebo ye kakra there's allowance na eye aban agya tumu say esisi etua ma na se no so mmade a ense na esisi asefum kakra me kasa didija muna na mo a me no ye no etua ban mu ha sikatitwi de kukura ma dikadi mu na ye de nketenketi mo de mai mo pesa mo mai dia se edi baba o minia
di ehọ na asem no wo che se obi ni mu didija mo nti mu dia nketenkete nso se ye de ma mo nti sa
minia o abai on wa se sa sika ye prikura obi dia baba kura na endu sebe 1 million endu skasi dia pipi ba kokora endu so ati ase san fi busumi dudu aye kan you know obi dia kora endu 1 million na America no na say 1 million kora ne senka na obi dia twitwi dia billions and billions of cedis tuama manfo na me dia 1 million ye mfa mame a unza libre
tumani abre Sese ya aban kyerɛ sɛ munya abotre na sika no de anya de ya obetia
aye kasa ye pese ye beti kura
mo mpɛsɛ mbɛte
aye kasa ye pese ye beti kura ye de wo didie ye wa rehwemu se sika no ebi hye ho papa aban na ni da ho no mpɛsɛ odi sika no brɛ adenti na me kan sa enche bosume miense atwam ne bosume mienu atwam ye ni sika akọ ebinim ho nipa ba ko anje kura na nya 1 billion ebetumi je 1.5 1.2 billion ni ekeka ho
obi ti sa hwan no obi num ti sa hwan no
ampacho wo de wuni nya mi ta wuni nti nya de ese meka mu ye nyina wo man ye nyina ni ye koso etimi me de 500 Ghana ana se 50 Ghana ana 100 Ghana na wo de bebra no ketem se sike ni ho ni ni abema mmeji wedi ana minji wuni etimi ye de wo gidie se sika no twere ho no mo mfamran sabi we enye afe ne ye ben hihye se mumman aketua se ana se bibi se ayo ade aje nti mo de mo mfamran ye de beji ne sa mo bro wafo ye beji ne ye ho bia ye beji ye de kakra ne ye mfamran why 500,000 kura ana se 50 Ghana kura ye pe ye mfamran
na strike ya mu threat se mu bekoi asem kese ba ko a da o mamu ha Supreme Court di ho asem election petition ya nanado Dr. Bawumia ne owura Jacob Echebilamte ede ore omampani Mahama Electoral Commission NDC for the omo abaji mu nyame ya adoma 16th ye sha ase di asemi na mo ko tie tua na chese asemi mo baba akotwe akọ dachi o
mi yo nka etua tibia o mi nyankan
minim se onyankan na mu awie mo behia
ko ba se ye be tua ko a aye mpanimfo behia ne afa ho adwene
Timu de musika no dia na mo je
ye sika ne ebeji se wo ma mu ye se bi mu de o ma ji wo mu ato na ye de se bi mo bro ma mi te Ghana pe no 500,000 per for ma de ma mi na wo se wo ni bia o de ba ma mi dia ene na ayasema mu odin pa
sa sika mu di ni boom ana mo je ni nkakra
si edi ni boom a ya beji si edi nkakra ya beji na mom sisi ane de e boom no kura no na me di nkankachiro obi de boom kura obeji no kura endru 1 million obi de boom edumafo no bi wo ha wo mo de boom kura ya beji no endru 1 million ti so be 1 million no wachiche mu di a se na ese wankasa
so 1 million ya behe na ya san chiche mu a na ese wo mo ankasa enti sikai egosi na wie no mienu na sika no nya maaye a mo be ye den
ani na meka no wie ndra ne ye hia ya bopo epo na ya bo no de sisia no mpanimfo ma me tumi se me mfantu dwa na omu no ma en se ye hia adwumafo no dodo no eye na wie a ye de tudwa de a na chese ye yensu ne yensu ubisa me amefro waka kire wo
no mienu maybe saw na yati ne be wakosie Obani Francis Brakwa anopei multi TV ahefo da ase
meso me da ase michia woni watiefo nyina
almost so da wase
kanka adwumafo a ewo judicial service court fo nyina michia wo mu nyina na wo mu enya awreshim wo yemu se esisie bia ekoso bia ne yenhwema no nkoso me da wase
yenso se da ase na esisie na ase ekoso wo he
esisie ekoso eduma ni asem na ken se wotie bi dia ma na umpese wotie dia ma se esisie ai
ti adi munaba
papa
yo ora Brakwa yedase Francis Brakwa Judicial Services Workers Union Ghana chapter Ghana hangina on the dawmano se yesu openi kasa no kasa bebuo mu a we nyese ye kwakutu pomane dia kosi ba bi ni a kyerɛw ni anom mienu omo kwa akoyo you bet me a suit say ya no wa repeat it akremu anase grofui strike ya no omo bekro na den wo mai ba ko pe judicial service for be ko strike doctor for was strike UTA for was strike pharmacist for was strike na omu nyina site say edidi je edimuna bi aba wanum na edidi je hwanum no ye betimu nsem text messages bebre ena ababesu me ewo me fidie so na mami enyi ablekuma southwest ablekuma west na sebedwani MPPD mu na oba ho ofefo na mum na no na edin onde o kan bia se nya papa obeka bia kirewo mami esusu amwakaba
ye ni akaba nyama no na edin o meka nokure na enyo bia na ope nokure na ti
ntina na ewo mprofo sa
ewo won sa yesi manu o ya manu o din debi nokure ba kopo mi anadwo me da fa
o so anu o ya papa
sa mo munti asam na meka no se de meka na nya nokure a o mun kan me agure ni o ako
nti akoro na ehye mu na ya na cho.
No, you have to speak up.
Ya mwakwaba.
Yeah, ni akaba.
Na a doctor for da so gina baby o mu gina judicial service for nso no omo ba be kuro omsi 2 o'clock o be meeting. Na executive for akoshia take decision bi a omo de koto members for nanim and na wie no mienu. Ultimately utie kasa o ekọ nyina strike ya no omo ba be kwa no. A nation in strikes. Adem.
Mami ntia tiefo nyina. Na mensrese urade hu ye nyina mobo. Na kwan bi so no wote womo ko strike na se. Kwan bi so. Enso wodwen nsunsuanso obonne e beba ye nyina yeso ana ayem hyehew. Mama mu ni nyina. Adenti no mu nyina ko strike. Parliament budget hearing was an eye opener for me. Aban budget a yetwa ma won no omo overspend by 8.7 billion. 8.7 billion na chi no omo di obia ka. Ti question obisa ne say sika no omo de yeden. Sika overspending no edie ne de yeye. Enyina so obi wom anu ye bi wom ubisa ne ya no fonfon. What the doctor foka, a teacher foka, in fact, workers nyanaka, including MPs, Get Fund, Health Insurance, District Assemblies Commons Fund, Road Fund. Not more, however, Wukabameba, and Nibria, I am shishie, Wupu Fua. Nami Nimbia, Comeda, Dawia. Not more. Overspending.
Nadmo
Overspending at the car.
Oti coffee pot of in camera.
Oh, Ebini. In Semni be a band penny for the can Semni be a me. I take it with a pinch of salt.
Uni womuni. Said the anyano cre.
Oh, me say buy their fruit shall baby no one no buy no. Almost no, and a bema ye who won't sue anyone buy. One more casa mimi gidi, o coca yes, one no ya. Mampeni da bay, and no African said dum so no, ya too better.
Nano could see that near toss and I'll say
near toss one,
we should take it
near toss one, and nine.
Sir, no, or say a you for no uncano cratch then.
In 9 young cano cratch then, and Nadia ya come on no cratch then.
Technocrats.
Now, and consider da bay. Missing no cry about couple. O can no cry, what da. Miss Ramwa and the Adian were near so soon to a better crack munya with trema, or can't such a Ghana for October. And cause ye and then Okasa will be a vacancy home. On my enemy who no treat your son keke. Nadmo and nso yiri apa nkrofo adanso. Omo siesi ye niska. And so omo overspend sandika. Baby a befe biara. Inti adwumayefo ane se ye nyina ye hu campaign aye wa ha. Ye cheche cast se tofi.
Hwan no na cheche cast tofi.
Takambu no patro we hu wante.
Hwan no na cheche.
NDC fo.
Wo mo chema hwan no.
Oh, school fo nya bi. University for especially my way everyday won kokwaso keke. Enjoyment be what? Way for Mahama. Way for Mahama. Fine go sing for Mahama. Billboard see asisa neni. Nti amafo be say nti e waska wo memu hasa. Ye wi akire 600,000 or 2 million ye den krofo asofo ko Israel ko bompa ya maya. Ni hia no. It's all a question of misplaced. Ghana, yenyo hia mayo. Ghana radie shiraye. Yenyo hia mai kete. Nanso ya kendifo a yensika no. Omomfa nyenye mehia manfo dodo na no. Enti ne ete sa tibia ya yetimu. Yedi no nyafu fuka. Media meka. Kanawu. Wa wompe no tough. The truth is only one, indivisible.
What is the truth? No krane ne de here.
Senka yensika ya nisu ye dinu nyafu ye to yambo unim. Obi adidi na adwuma ho. Na wo ye wadwuma ni wie ye. Na se wo so gi waketua na obi eda wasese mo wa ya ade a. Eno anim nyam wo ho sense. Wagya wadwuma na to nkyɛn. Na wo di sika ne ye de ahia. Dodo na konkofo boto. Asontaba 47 or 48 million. Enua esi ye kodua e. Nipa 8,000. Edua enua 15,000. Afe. Mi etua wonka afe. Muni nyina. Nti obi edua enua 2.5. The whole year eni etua wonka. Na wo ye sa beden na adwumayefo aka se me nso de mekatuamka. Christian Health Association 50 billion kapena na ye di won omo anko strike kankai omo san anko omo sika amafo apo mudin hu hian won adesua hu hian won asenkandi bia kra kan sen justice atemuafo hu nsem hu hian Yesu a yebenum hu hia ban. Nyiram kane a de beye adwuma nso hu hia ban. Na de na hia ban. De obeye a ebe mo no anya tumi atena ho da afebo.
Basani me basani me obosi na aban che so otu ho anamon.
Oh really?
Enra no president Watakrade ya T3 wako inaugurate wo mkire se bui nyamo hyase no wo mato aso end of this month one port be hyase ya adwuma asogli because of gas. They say West Africa gas pipeline. Oma ayewia, one more test running gas beba. You beat me nya gas apawa. Aboaze. Oh, say. Abai so tu wana mo. Na bi abai so tu wana mo. Abai so ye hu bibi. Ene rap pesimua. Minister of Water Resource Works and Housing. She say end of August. Water rationing etu obicha. Abai ni ye hu bibi sa ni memu hu wana.
Kapa wo mo ke bibi kira was still wujidi.
Now the other na wu ni ni.
Mama one example. And the examples are legion. Free won ti kokan won nase. Me see NDC for mo no kurantem kwa wa. Omo ke bibi a yemfa ya so ba kuntie na mfa hempie. Please. Yentra hono mo nada yensada. Bosom ya heni ada sum. Obi atena sia sisi e ka ya bo aso man. Me dress makeup ba kwa me call ho tesano. Enemre ma yesi ye kuko ye nimu no. Or the hand sewing machine any box iron.
Na Esther memo to aso ye ka say lawyer Sampi Yali edru fi ha. yɛne bɛdi nkɔmmɔ but quickly yɛnkɔ fair wages and salaries commission na yɛne yɛnua bɛrima L Ankra ɔno na yɛ PRO de ɛma fair wages and salaries commission because last week yɛne ne kasa ne twi no na ɔsi yɛnkɔ yi papa nti na ɛbɛka brɔfo
Good.
L, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Good to have you once again.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I thought that you were going to use the last weekend to, polish up your chi, but as it were, you couldn't.
Oh, Charlie, last weekend I was working over the weekend, so I couldn't. But I promise you, coming weekend, I'll polish my chi. I'll shock you.
You should try. You should try. But quickly, let's move on to the issues of the day. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing and is engaged in all manner of consultations and talks with labor unions. As it stands now, what kind of consultation and arrangement and talks are going on with labor unions, UTAG, Medical Association, and the others? What's really happening?
This is what's going to happen this week. Thursday, we are meeting all members of the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiating Committee. It is a whole meeting of organized labor on one side and Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on the other side. And we talk about all issues bordering on the single spine salary structure. So that's going to happen this coming Thursday. In the interim, on the matters concerning UTAG and Ghana Medical Association, I know the National Labour Commission has invited GMA on Wednesday. We'll wait to see the outcome of it. UTAG, we haven't heard anything from the front, but we are hopeful, our fingers crossed, we are hopeful that maybe something positive will come up.
It's interesting that you say you have a meeting with the Medical Association tomorrow because I just spoke to the president a while ago. He says he has no notification of that.
No, what I know is I think I read that the National Labour Commission has invited them. If they don't have a notification from Labour Commission, then I wouldn't know the details of that. But this is what I know.
It's interesting because he just spoke to me. Well,
hello.
I was just saying that's interesting because
the line is faint.
Okay, I'll try and speak up. I was saying to you that I spoke to the president of the Medical Association a while ago, just before you came on the line.
Sure, okay.
And he tells me that he has no notice of that he's actually in Kumasi and doesn't know that there's a meeting going to happen tomorrow.
Okay. Well, it is not a meeting with Fair Wages. It's supposed to be with National Labour Commission. Then maybe there's a little communication problem in there.
When I spoke to the president of the Medical Association,
sure.
His take was that the posture of some of you, including you, L Ankra, has not been helpful, and sometimes your commentary, quote unquote, is quite insulting to them.
I don't know. Did he quote any particular statement I had made that was quite insulting to them?
He made reference. He made reference to one issue where you are reported in the papers to have said that you won't. When I say you, I'm referring to the Labour Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Won't be pushed by any public sector workers' union.
Well, this is it. Here's the fact. Let's not make it personal. Let's remember that this threat of strike came all the way from February. So it should not sound as if when we go on air to defend Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, that is the reason why they would even stiffen their stance. Because this strike threat has been there from even before we started opening our mouths. So if they believe that, well, us talking soft and rubbing feathers on the issue is what will make them get back to the consulting room, then I'm not too proud to beg. I'll apologize if there is. I don't believe 1 minute that I've said anything that is insulting to GMA. But if that's the case, then I'm sorry. I don't have a problem with that at all. But here are the facts.
Hello, L. Oh, too bad. And I say, or drive it. Na any police for cry. I mean, so be no use hands free. Because I hear a crowd no massa one. But you better say you're back on the line. But strikes, it's overwhelming. Overwhelming. Now, public interest lawyer, lawyer Sampiali. Enema you discussing now is of the public interest, and it be take. It was asking. Piali Akwaba. Oh, Memwasi of course. Akwaba, uhuya. Okay, my Esther Unji, maybe I remember ho. But so
na make answer kwen bi so no wote striking workers no ase. Nenso. And that's how I want to conclude my submission. Nenso. Udi once na ho abu.
Ubru kro.
Enti mesre. Ewo mu se ensemi a omukwa ho strike enye net na esi ya ti hu nkonwa kwaba hu se de yesi resolve nafa abanya said e wo so oyen ami wo de kana utua ne kakra wontuo wotena wa na ewo a ne de ashu tirim se bum na afi hu se de wo si ye na hu hihia senka yetu ya na monta me wo si yetu anamona ki enuru pempensuwe na si ebedi aban nya atwom ne no kro ne ye ndi ya achia where omey ye be kwan doctor for strike me say last week nya Sunday ye pa hui the week before me nipa pa bi nua oyare anadwo ne ye de no to hospital 3 am yen ko bedroom refse no wo nya stroke Kolebu pharmacy na ya tum because someone announce but no more ye work to rule 9 to 5
After 5
on wapon. 3 am he no mu kanya dro yi bi. Yenko osumra no na wawu. How many people must die because of government's intransigence and misplaced priorities? How many? Yedu amwachi a bibia nkoso e wo me ama me kai English abrochimem winter be a friend no more friend winter of discontent. All workers were going on strike. Yes, bola no na it said yesigu e state mu se tieni. English abrochimem na nkura no mo didi aye yesese. Train ko bus ko because obia ko strike at the end of the day. Almost sisi a car o memu ne boy no pupuruja. Mesre won. They've made their point and made it emphatically. Omonte Ghana for breast because ye kan nya omo e wo so omo to anamo bi omo ntunu na ebre no onni biefo e ma ne nkwala dodo na e na ebre mesre we de chopa minim so omo ati afie bia e betena aka mesre me de radidi power show wo mu Ghana for mobo na saban so still on be prim won koma no more titi yen sike di said the omusi edi akyere yen the past 4 years yeah mesre won omunsu hu Ghana for mobo kakra ni enye ni ehia no ni enyai de fata no sesi ami oban penny mu bi be kan sem bia me hwe ni sen ha yo makan yate because ade ebechi no na mwankasa mo contradicting mo ho and the evidence on the ground no e contradicting sem na mo kan no enu mo ama manfo kura nya gidie wo ya manyosem a ye yenim e ha ye nyina there is no antidote to honesty and the truth. I beg those of you, though all of us in power and authority at this time ye ne Ghana fo ni nukure dachi bi ye kan sem kire won a omatie ene mampani obi nanim kan say mark my words. I say you really which one ebio wakayati is that what he wants? Fast losing credibility if he hasn't already lost it.
The president,
I'm telling you,
has lost credibility
on this doom matter. I've
been telling you, nearby so why
it would take a lot to convince me.
Trust me. But who say power system no improve kakra?
Who create problem? Na yetna hwa ekwamwa dewa na so bi cho brodo kakra ye rade me dase yo why ye
dey brodo no
please. How much has the nation lost because of high energy crisis?
But the government doing something about it.
That's not the point I'm making. Yet to crude oil at the power generate electricity in October. And kejuma yebeye no yebetumi anya ho atisa aka na somebody isn't making those simple calculations. Oh crew ne bo de no don yan san twentwen so yan fanya yan campaign wie ye diska ni wie a ye renam no e wo dompe ni nyina ho wie a president na ne ka nyam na meka
so this kind of
ya renam ni nyina ka dompe ya renam na manaka dompe me nam kan
Saboteur me you ano.
Oh.
Yes,
sir. If we had done those simple opportunity cost calculations, Nanka, maybe you better realize that let's generate electricity. Our people will work. Ombetuya omoto, yebetuya aketuya ama our workers. Sikane beko around. Yen yina ebenya ho faso. Any ene. 4 or 5 months down the line.
Last so,
assurance.
Strikes. Sebia ebia na on kai bia ye kasa UTAC for strike, University Teachers Association, government hospitals, pharmacists was strike, doctors was strike, judicial service for are threatening to go. In fact, by 2 p.m. a decision will be taken. So mbekwa no monko. Ye kai nagrat for the abesenko, teu for abesenko, nat for abesenko. Adi na ekoso.
Kaba bisebio na amizem yimde azibelo nyi wiaze no nyizin na unsi den so a ne yehuni bunne besei ane nizinyinde asembera aban bekembero njinzi
na also wanje
me say ebe me
ananala na sama.
Thank you.
Na omanya etsimi bi na wadwene nye de awo kwesansa na wo so kobne sinti no kwesansa fo wombo fom enwe na wozi no nye yen wazi ndama NPP NDC NPP da ma no ma na bose to time strike started me try them pede kabete ya mo hwe azikurinsa nkoforo ko strike now biami edwuma ne sabi obia na kutua baba form hu na munde salaries ni ze oneje aban otue ni nyinara salaries obia ni salary is not in arrears na in Zambia or create disparities was system was the market premium. Kaba, Ghana Medical Association, memo assignment since 1992. Where the number of strikes at Ghana Medical Association unkotin ako amanim since 1992. Ne fi bisebio there distortions in the salary structures in this country or yet institution no cause them salary distortions. Mereba metro the kaba mereba sabotel. If at the health service were various organizations, pharmacists, dentists, doctors, midwives, nurses, several of them,
laboratory technicians.
How do you handle such a big group? Ebia, yabekari yenye doctors na pharmacists or analogous grades, yentina honi yenye discussions. In Penipin, I remember Martin there. So what are you meeting now? Obiana feel that I'm imagine Muyasan, Oslanism. Intino, yente ma yenye boom. Inti abani nyama yensi sheni we are. Na Osla no dominus so wide then. What it ya? And that is the history of strikes in the medical field. People should research into it. And for me, that is the greatest source of the distortions of the salary structures in this country. It is for this reason, and I'm paying Kufo, Jim, or they a single spine. The philosophy behind the single spine in there. See, the equity in there. Say a broadcaster, I'm sorry, a broadcaster, nay, now the same grade now. On Sunday, war Adom, and on Sunday, we saw Peace FM, Yenji Akutiakor. That's the philosophy behind the single spine. Now, to migrate from a system in a year industrial relations allow collective bargaining. It's a mature. Inti say one where producers and one goes back one bargaining. Then cameramen will also go and do their bargaining. Then the makeup artists will also make their bargaining, all on the same employer. And you can see how difficult this is. So they said, let us have a single spine salary structure. Obiala oye the same job, oye the constitution calls for equal pay for equal job. Now, in the course of it, there will be a friend a premium. Na premium nature there. My friend the Kaba. I hate war Adom FM. Into yesterday beer a sister driver station about pickle, not Oziwako, that station. Into joy from painful before the Kaba bra. And I want to employers in Kaba. Yem pede ebefi Adom FM. So send ako baby. O send there if you are young programs or that is what is called the premium, the basis of the premium. It is when we are agreement we are usually a sign namuso by sign.
Then it becomes binding
on the two parties. Kaba. Na only you your strike.
That's simple, sir.
Remember, so far, yes. Because the basic thing between an employer and employee is the salaries. That's right.
Contract of employment.
Contract of employment. The basic factor here, remuneration. Then allowances. Only negotiated allowances. Some are dependent on the ability to pay by the employer. The range of allowances is in the collective agreement there is dependent on ability to pay. There are certain ranges depending on the agreement in any signing or contracting them. The mode of payment is even determined.
It is a minimal sign.
Kaba. Me find it there. Sir Joy FM, I mean multimedia. When you agreement there, Kaba, me pay the book when you call another station, you know. But soon be a 10 cities akawas. Now, for any reason, could be cash flow problems or whatever, they are unable to pay. Now, you meet them there. Oh, what for? As some might carry between you, na I watcher. So I know, but adverse Nansen Quatricacra into no Muciano by installments, Madawadi, Madamo. Now, so, Debbie, I want it to be paid in lump sum. That it is the main situation in Yoma, what I know is the situation. It's not about their salaries. It's about the premiums now. Almost one year portable to other organizations. That's the basis of all. It's a trend across. But no moment. My expecting there, the government would have let everybody know that. Nancy and the appropriation bill. Nancy and the parliament. I'm the one we what discuss we are one we. In Tibana, yenya pockets of revenues are apart from the traditional pay as you earn sources. So customs will increase one year rate. But what the schedules by then what's called more mobilized revenue. Usually, as less you know, having been in parliament there. If you want to, but in your order, government revenue hit a certain peak by June, July. Just by June, July. Apart from salaries in Nigeria, or you pay as you earn, government revenue takes time to hit a peak. By September to November, and if you when your excess revenue, you work supplementary budget. It is if you meet your employer, and that employer, this is the challenge I have. Me Jesse there, again, as Ghanaians, without all the issues being raised, without mischief, without politics, the media, the commentators, and everybody should know where the situation is and what the problems are. You know, somebody gave an illustration of the problems we may be leading to and use Greece and Cyprus as a possible
mass civil unrest.
Not mass civil unrest, but liquidity. The country can be bankrupt.
President can
Merba, Osla. Kim Yafun Kaba, I had the population of Ghana. They are about 25 million, isn't it? Plus or minus. Men find the 6 million now were employed by the government. But there's a huge mass of persons
dependency
were outside the taxable bracket, the government employment. Taxi driver now no okonuchen who cover the tax. In church my mention I say cocoa seller utia tax, tax, tax. Kakra kan boom. Na yes. Young venture yan from Maji was school mombe doctors. Young venture yan from Maji was school mombe engineers, no bossman. Now, if you look at our expenditure pattern in all the ministries across board, a larger percentage of our expenditure is on personal emolument, what they call the PE.
62%.
62%. 62%. No, Chada Waka said 30-something percent.
38.
38. For the rest of the country. For the rest of infrastructure development over the year. For the road repairs, for the hospitals and others, yet the 60-something percent in the salaries. Kaba, onye enyi jesem biara owodo obiara odidi afew. Church ma meji ase, onye situation odi edi difew. Kra. Say yan hwe ni ye na by this demand kaba okodi 70 to 80%. Yen profile of workforce or purely administrative and services. Every ministry so hana ye push a pen. Just you push a pen, Compare that to the manufacturing sector. Compare that to the agricultural sector. We have a huge problem on our hand. And therefore, nobody should be happy that there's a stream of strikes. Oh, na winter strike if you ante. Oh. Winter strike.
Thank you.
That's right. Winter strike in us like kind. We in Kabetea. Na a kawa manen aban to repair those things. Senche nkrofusi abotel na waye ho bibia nche wambanedam. Na I am met there. A man for pedo push the problem to fair wages. Another will push the problem to labor commission by issues of procedure. Na one yadam, no yadam, no kadam, no yadam. Osler is a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. When they brought the Labor Act, I saw it as one of the most participatory documents ever generated apart from the Constitution. Because it was a document the labor, that is when you talk about labor, organized labor, participated fully in that. I attended some of this at Elmina Hotel. And now, what is the structures there? Say, a grievance of industrial nature. These are the steps you take. Kabeche mechana. Na sanyo yang kuruku. Na kaba. Won se shani minima. Mo ojina hum nye onye ya. Ebe negotiations na enyene beye. Like Osla. Yes, sir. The issues at stake are what the MPs one salary na ex of others.
Diversion.
Oh yeah, diversion. Found MPs no what you want ejuma kabete ya MPs no oh ejuma what ye ena mbraso am hon kwan de aja de mo honi ye ze mo honi ni obi ye ebinum ye na ekọ law school yi ye bunum ebaboti bi de wo broadcasting houses anamobwa me tin pi wo broadcasting me tin pi so for law school friend in parliament am so me pension ejuma nti ejuma wala pede eye no wa hom na ekọ na ekeye. So why do you say that many kabako school na joy from multimedia fu will train a caucus into the do
yes so kran kwa yi ya
would you post more boy
me
so the argument are Jericho strike because we are thinking about what MPs ex-ministers are taking are incongruent on cry.
But it is say honey asemuno because almost say almost say binumu didi na binum susuru womo de nketenketem kra yesi entua womo de
yewra
enya MPs na edidi
yewra
uncle
mamen yanka no kwar na asemuno kwar de ekropia say oya market premium ya on continue strike ya pharmacist enwu yempede bo cross kolebu road na kaya private pharmacy wo ho anambwa nti ndiye mo premium doctor yempede be fi kolebu na ba ye was ofan locum was net hospital trust hospital nakaba mata kaba mata asamu wo ma yen hinala as those of us of civil society, when we have fun no quarrel to her because the more we allow them to create these distortions, and the more we will suffer as a country.
Mami, our final question. Mere coincidence say, idea sikeke say all of a sudden, all these labor unions they decided to make a strike. What could be the motivating factor?
Kaba.
Kasa.
Kaba.
Kasa.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Kasa. How it's our Kasa.
Na. I mean,
wow.
As the Mina Wala. Mina Yala. Mina Ho.
Ejawa.
Here.
I'll grow.
Missy. Ido mahame abenten ya me bono
dema
ya me bono do
wa send it through nyina fudu
na
me kra me de
kaba wa sabuta
si ni nyina anya se nyina yo kakra
ya me do wa na so hwe ya me odo wa na so hwe
the moment of trials na God is trying him
kaba
he is reaping the fruits of the seeds he sowed
wala nenyim wala nenyim
he is reaping the fruits of the seeds
si tukura odua yi mo so wala na atwegu kantem na ton asle si tukura awuyi bla do ma odam wafil awara na nkofo na woton
Pachonya Bible na say by their fruits shall they be.
Nti no fruit kru no wala na enyim ame mesi de
Chro kronkron.
Wo kronkron no wala wo. Wo kronkron no wala wo. Brofu kru min kan. Amani is governable.
Oh, absolutely.
But who said it to
Mr. Amani are governable.
But who said it is ungovernable?
Nti ame mesi de eyehu. Oya moments of trial. Na se amampanyin ehu sometimes nzema bi wo ha. Oba, Ama,
it makes you strong.
Strong. It gives you some leadership directions.
The time ran now.
Yes, we. Ayin which was it? My Asha, we are. A bona with the baby or so. A doom so. When there was in Chevy for funny, yeah,
doom so.
Mahama, all of this say a kaba. So mampenyin etu na abodo No semanya ho hia. No yes asamono obaba crisis. But energy crisis here ye wo mse sale kaba. One start 4 years or 5 years old. Kaba. Energy crisis or started way back at Champon time. Kaya, my Champon kada me yamina matunsun. One starting did that. And so if successive governments,
why you won't be here?
And so my friend ya mahamu.
To be friend abazi.
And you problem.
Mati. Fiswara.
Sometimes Mam Tasam chair, Inti, so what are you become? If you ever cry, will be a wife so now. Menda strike here, or Wallow.
I was therefore, you was I pim so na Chiabo, a pound sima idun so. Uncle Sam Piale, beside say, what could be the more? I say, Mrs. Major, a man Sumaba, my bamboo see ya. See you one time. Yeah, to us will be Jam no Chiabo ma Pounsima Edionu Mienu or Adom TV Bejam. You heard text messages, emails in the idea, but also with me the Biaba Twitter Kujokaba KOJOKBA and 1760 and afi Kujo kabatmajonline.com or say Kaba, why don't you forget about these NDC people? Unum say someone who can and no crack. And Cat Douglas or the free air bantama or say in Sri Lanka, Mamiasla Usu, Augustine Kwatin Trophy Techiman, or say NDC is a failure. They are using their failure to infect Mother Ghana, but in Yadia a bebaso. Augustine in a day braying. We free Augustine Korea BMT and Twaso Kaba. It's interesting to hear Esther talk about winter of miscontent the UK government faced due to labor unrest. Unfortunately, she did not tell the public how the problem was resolved by great Margaret Thatcher of blessed memory. May her soul rest in peace. The Iron Lady resolved this problem by introducing 2 labor laws. 1, unions can only call for a strike if only it is supported by 2/3 majority of members. And then no work, no pay. Is she ready to support such labor law? Esiedu Dankwa watching us live from the UK and are all sharing. Or being or say, imagine working for 26 months without salary. I'm a staff nurse who completed school in December 2010 and started work in February 2011 and still taking my student allowance. All is not well, Kaba. And when we decide to speak, they say, Kumase Accra or Free Max or say, Kaba, good morning, please. Can Esla repeat how many trees they planted in a year with how many workers? Oh, Motherland Ghana. Happy birthday to my dearest Nana of Multi Max and Dubai. Was it 8,000 trees?
18,000 trees, 5,000 workers. Obia 2.5.
Kaba, when government is paying big judgment debt, big money for planting trees and paying as gratia, Adom person who said we have classes of people in Ghana, the industrial action will continue. Michael Champon. Kaba, Dr. Edu says should be ashamed of himself. He talked like a politician. They think they are the most intelligent and the most important people in Ghana. Look at how he condemned the health minister and the Fair Wages PRO. Doctors should give us a break. God is the ultimate healer. Kusiampo from Sunyai. Kaba, I didn't know Professor Mills was performing well until President Mahama took over. Kwesiba from our palm. Dr. Poko, you say, Unim Kasa, Moni Kasa, Ghana Medical Association, good leader. Ishmael Chung Odum Kaba, the NDC government should be serious with Ghanaians. When we were complaining about problem of prioritization, they came to defend themselves on the issue of payment of ex-gratia to the President and Ministers of State. Are these people more important than the parliamentarians who have been paid? UTAG GMA, I am solidly behind you. Eric Arthur, please Kaba, Multi TV, I say Adom TV, Mosan no down. Munye bin fama yo. Joe K, Esiedu Nketia should save his breath. and strength, he will need them in court. That is where the real punching will be needed. He's always publicly displaying his fears, panic, and frustrations. He rubbished the case before the by the name discuss it. So it's a cool for saying is okay. We are about newspapers near there earlier in the morning. Mami na yenfa 1760 Kaba or say for 40 long months the fire service has not been paid. Also the allowances. We too we are angry within and we are waiting. Kwesi yakwa akosombo. Kaba, may I know from Honorable Agunaba Esla? No, Agunaba. Watch Agunaba. Mimi hunu Agunaba Esla. How much her salary is? Kaba, find out from Agunaba Esla. Can she part away with some part of her salary, just as Barack Obama did recently in the U.S.? We want to see our politicians sacrifice a little for Mother Ghana. Kaba, please ask President Mahama and his chop government, $3 billion Chinese loan that bang nebeba. The MPP should groom Madam Esla for president one day.
Amen.
When him kasa papa.
Kaba,
can I get lawyer Sampi Ali's number because me wa court assembly abiso obedi mame. You Kaba, what's happening to our dear nation, Mother Ghana? The government is confused. Capitation grant has not been paid, you. Kwame Nachu for Praso. Kaba, I think Esla dear, I'm so any BBS opposition. I didn't try. Or say, Kaba, I believe you too, you should go on strike one day. I wonder. That may have just have a strike because you was anyway, see, I want to bye bye. You are
so they about going now.
They were hiding. I had there from base. I had there from base. Two abu man we be. Hey, enjoy. I'm not for me, anyway,
but you see, you know this, we are emphasizing on the allowances and of the salaries.
No.
And that is a huge disadvantage on their pensions. They are not aware.
Because a salary, you know, and you calculate your pension, you know. They are true.
They are not minded. They are not mindful of that fact.
Because I'm out for salary, beer and getting.
No, what's the matter? You know, that is the real problem. That's the real problem we have over there. People should now start looking at that.
Okay.
Looking at there's a law on minimum wage, but people are not paying minimum wage. But people go on strike because of allowances. In the end, as soon as you end your term of office as on retirement, all these allowances will cease.
Allowance in a season.
Then you go home with some capre. Yeah, people are not thinking about it.
Okay. And so what you are doing now? But Esther, in the midst of all this, Ora Mahama Yariga said, contrary to public perception, you know, one more year from 2009. From 2009, ABC, your friend is saying 2012. Almost in fact, from January to date, public officials, president, vice, ministers, presidential staffers, one cry in chair, one kada. The every.
What is he saying? So?
It's almost sacrifice kakranti. Woman more cost.
No, Dabeni appointed as minister.
Sometime in February.
We're filling the forms in army heading up to government payrolls. So what does he mean by they are almost sacrificing to Omonji or market year since January? January, no, a minister. Nurses, 2 years after passing out of school, when do they get paid? Teachers, when do they get paid? And it said 3 months when some can work year.
No.
Have you
put that in context? Put that statement in context. And then,
when some can work year since the beginning of the year, is that news?
No.
Every government, men can say a year. But I'm saying some more creative impression be say current crop of ministers near appointees no omo ye bibi e maada omo dum Ghana for inti omo aketu yakra omo atwentwen so ye nti aye inti please spin no ne eyi no eya doso dodo. Plain fact of the matter is that ebinum kra yeso ewon eni nansa.
In fact ebinum beko I think say ochna and then ochna ne Friday.
So what's he talking about?
But the truth is that
the processes for paying public sector workers a process. It goes through a stage. Yeah, point two. Wo organization no the form somehow no filling in details no near the akoma controllers and one na san near the waka ho and san ya shase atua oka from Minkan is the beginning of this Fourth Republic. Anya kra 4 months die. Na minister government appointee waketua emaye. Me adwuma as special assistant for 6 months. Se jam wochna ne betua mka. Pesi na kapreba kra yemfa mame as special assistant.
Na my appointment letter.
Oh. President Kufuor say ye volunteers.
Say now we adwuma che o man.
Ma complaining. Me jitu mu se eyeye nyina ya sede se ye beboa no man na tumpon ti kakra me ye de aboa ne de me 6 months ye ntua me kamete ya ne me nkonko bi so bia but nya hwe efse nya me na hwe yen so me si o mama nu mu aduane mo me da. I say that to the glory of God. Enti Mesra Yarega, he should spare us. As information minister na fe de oya ye ne do me mana chen am nyonko pa na he should spare us. Nye we ne here. Say omo nsanka won ex gracia. Edian wo moji under the table ayen ni. Minim. I'm asking a question. Oti ho no, what up petrol? Does he buy fuel? Me, I buy my own fuel. Internet otuaka, debi. Me anam tua me de ka. Light bill otuaka, me anam tua me de ka. Me house girl, me driver, say me will be a me house girl driver. Watchman, whatever. Nyana mitua onka. Edan o team aban na ato nkonwa ne ade nyina TV o hekra aban na ato. Just give us a break.
No work.
Patro ansa na de meko ma minka de hia me kra. I won't waste any more time on Ayarega ne nsem. Margaret Thatcher.
You be kan ho asem, you be kan me ma kan ho asem. Some no na here say aban be ka kire going by the explanation.
Hey Kaba.
Oh am there. No mu nya de om de between
Mama come there.
Say man am kan dem nkan bi no man na.
Kaba, I am there as basis of some of the strikes. The salaries of MPs had been cited. And the fact that government has also paid ex gratia and other allowances and emoluments to government officials. Now, sir, on Tsidama, no, as Minister of Information, or Bradley there, or the Trabontin there, as some now working on Yano Quarry. Nemum abandoning Nuncrophone, Uncho and the Kawumpo. Abna. And yet, and these ministers in good thing what you do, watch your television free.
Wow,
I'm got the pain. Abna, P opinion.
Okay.
Kaba,
Uncle.
Sir, Dama analysis now. Usually, it strengthens the position of the striking workers. That's the way I see it. They are the pure television, not where Agunaba. No, Aguna this year, or can I get the TV? That's not the argument. The argument is that as the information minister, he had only come out there as someone called Forecan on them to my binum why is strengthening their striking on Yanokwar. Now, and I pay, let's say, there, no, Obifi control and accountant general, no, other station. Were friend because one of the newspapers now reported. Yes, I reported there as in which year. The people said, number for information. Okay, I know what him. There, as Gracia and Adi, which
That's not what the paper
said.
He was talking about payment of salaries.
Salaries.
Statement on non-payment of ministerial salaries, false and dishonest.
That's right. But remember,
Asla,
remember. I want to know how. Say, in America, the payment of salary to government payroll or a process. And I'm going to a problem. I mean, Miti, Kukaba, Mandu Zinzin Yala. My Juma, in fear by saying, Missing payroll.
Won't you car?
Allowance.
For 3 years.
Telling you, I'm paid on account. Anyway, now me feel there. Oh yeah, a Juma Yanko Pondasha, man said, I'm also my contribution yen. Because me in there, so up and there. So what the meeting the payroll there, my order was in Membera. What's my mom? Come, if I am a man, couldn't munka strike in te. To the most American, there are certain processes be over. Our there, control and alaso, non so, was shorting processes. Because after teaching you with you, as not got to baby on fee, now, wafu kala bankana, yes. I mean, Sampi Yalim Tinker, Hilpony. No, na Obia, what's now got to baby, waff and teaching ya.
I was a mess, my way of a wife and I and 7 for.
I ignore you. Abena. You know as a fact there.
Oh,
Mister, you know as a fact there since 1994 I'm by minister. Missing then. Mameta na meti. I went him there into me nya ifinde po amfam.
Oh, nya fiansem bi.
Nti mama yefunu benkura no fana. But kaba. But yeah, on a serious note. Afo bi wo abrenteba anaketese ba wonkan ha that's na kotumu kromensima na hanta ho no ho onye obiara wo ho we twakon kobra secondary wa be secondary very what about controller be ye mfie bie
say one makra ye nyema wo
na eyi susu oye president bi na sama oye yana ye adwuma wo abana soyen Kabete ya, you more ministries. No, what the young there. I mean, my attitude in there. File be allowed the minimum. Kaba, file be all the minimum. Or ye obine pension. No, your pension on cotton, or ye been a neighbors for one pension. And if we from by 8, 9 and office. Or send them and pay the file be allowed or come office. Why don't we create this spirit in our civil service? Anida mala mufu atwuru ko Minister of Finance ho because MJB ana sabio mehu madwebo na they are younger officers I employ one wa kaba e wona mo from man what the bre the castle that I want to Minister of Finance the finance why can't we strengthen this part of it na the massive in alamba the strikes here wa be nana ibia obi ancho odo cho letter cropia
wancho
me wosiem what resolve the massem other ho intinu asam so so badamboma no wa bon wait let's just look inward. Sometimes we blame the politicians for many reasons but I'm here I no boy criticism asam ofihara ya ho. How do you do things like that in a country and believe that the country will develop? In a country where 60-something% of the revenue is channeled towards paying that small group of government workers. And when the president demands that or they increase in productivity, yentase. Kaba, yentase. That is the problem. There, see, to whom much is given, much is expected. Into the civil service, the public services, will train 69 to something%. When we improve, because our duties in or generate kabetea or generate policies and systems are over to watching other people on board. Now, my advice and pay them the way in there, Kaba. Workers are your organ. As I are in there, yet you can allowances on home. Kaba. We don't talk about our salaries. Maybe the single spine is on. But there are some workers in this country, they are taking less than 40 Ghana cedis a month.
40 cedis.
I am telling you, Osla, go to Snit. Osla, go to Snit. There are some
40 cedis a month.
400. There are taxi drivers, one boss, one more. Kaba. There are some people who are receiving less than 200 cedis a month. Nembomin, I'm doing the music home. Allowances no original home. Forgetting there, a that will be women on retirement. That day, all the allowances will cease. Come and tell me, on what is your social security pension going to be calculated?
Now, pension was seminal and Chibia. Lawyer Sampiali. You better don't come over if you so. You better don't come over. You better don't come over. Na yes, you kunya na ya hem why in a bit me ya boy home. But answer ye baby, you know, I say Kaba. Me kwantu anya maho. Say a judge for yes won't be defending President Mahamani and it for. I'll go to Antwerp. Now curse them. Are they?
I'm not commenting.
I'm
not commenting.
Oh, bosom.
Yes, you will be.
I'm saying Ghana, the Antwerp, the Dean Party, and commented.
Antwerp, you know what? Just school, was school down my way. Sir, and the person him be us in Ukraine, bosom here.
Maybe, but or he be so. President Mills Krum say, so
it is not true. He was on Peace FM this morning.
Really? And so was he misreported?
Seriously, and he has taken also a friend, Nukrum one, another why who knew Christian. My man, on him why no Christian. He doesn't believe in those gods and those.
No,
and the funny kitchen there. Was it? And Crawford go we had Nabus me out of call.
I don't know where we are Nabus.
No cray. Into Urban Grannon. Ni Bushibi or Man FM. I listened to him when I was coming here. And the offer was, hey, Kwame, who grew my bosom and Crawford will go here. Now, Miss a tamna we were cradden, Munto be mon, a boss when I won't defend the one. And she Uncle President Merce, now same baby, what I become the master.
Because I say, almost all Nipa President Merce,
I have friend, OKFM.
Baby son.
Bibisan.
Kwame Nkrumah me yonkwa. Bibisan. Esla there one can cry or mem had.
Oh why?
One can cry was ansem we mu. Is she talking about anyway? Or say Kaba less than 100 days in office and we are suffering like this. Hey, Nyankopon mejo o man Ghana or century na de brain. We free quickly Douglas Godwin or say Kaba.
On the overhead.
You did not mention my name when I said I was going to curse them. You, Marty Douglas Godwin, that's it. Emails, text messages, young tea, and if you're not free. Margaret Thatcher, any court, and 7 years from Mummy and Koya time. Swan, sir. Margaret Thatcher is only 87 years. And the Iron Lady and O'Cree. That's that. I bet it's her title. No,
unqualified.
Unqualified. Margaret Thatcher. Sir,
I can't find a cover my house lepum to me. I cover Margaret Thatcher's abacum.
That was hey, Erade, Ghana. Oh, I mean, I say from Nkrumah, from Kwame Nkrumah. Almost 90% of NDC people, they're doing fair. It's not fair. I will go down. Or see, this all boils down to instructions that are buying intimation mayendi so. Kaba, your two panelists have really made my day today. We need people like this in this country. I believe if all politicians will behave like these two, Mother Ghana will move forward. Afo from Taifa and Ochodi Free the Brain. Ask Sampi Yali, if he says he has not been paid, how much of an allowance does he take? Hafiz from what?
Hafiz, Miss there.
Or Jenny back pay now, you never come
Miss there, I'm being paid on account. Yes. And it's a fact.
They determine the salary.
Okay. And so, but also, Alan, the demand non come in.
Oh, my country.
A pedal Kaba.
Kaba. I'm a cadudo.
You. Or say
back pay no 10%.
5,000.
Or say I'm one of those who never liked Esla, but her encounter today with Sam Piali is quite astonishing. Hey, I'm beginning to fall in love with you, Honorable.
I bet about tomorrow.
Really,
Thank you.
but I'm saying I'm out for it once a while. I don't want to say we in Pabonibio.
Yeah,
Or say
Peace FM. People were also saying, talking about that.
I say, Kaba, I admire Esla for her simplicity. Also, natural. Many Papa George from Salaga, you. Wilson Kansamwa, you. Kaba, also, ask the man before where he worked before going to the pension. Okay, so Kaba, please, do you know President Mahama has sold or see has sold Ghana Water Company to Israelis? JED Bedu Takrade, the president is confused. NDC for someone to me, Juana Munsi form. Please stop bringing Esther to this program.
Oh no.
Saruata from Achimda. Kaba, the truth of the matter, the truth of the matter is that these illegal strikes are politically motivated by the MPP. Kwame Aguna Suedru, Berima Kwame Berima na the brain.
we have that much
That is what I don't know person can to me.
We have that much
or say it is very shameful the way NDC is managing this country. We are yet to see more because I am a young nurse and since 2010 I have not been put on salary. I'm only taking allowance. We should be frank. Ghana is not worth dying for. Come on, please ask for doing nothing. Please ask the NDC lawyer. Only NDC lawyer. Madam Chucha Esla name crowded. Man can Ghana for. Please, I want to ask Madam Honorable Sampiali, if government says there's no money, but are able to pay the arrears of the MPs, where did the money come from? They should pay all of us. Kaba, please, personnel. Yes, we too, we don't have risk allowance. So, yes, young striker now. You, Santana from Takwa. When you preach probity, accountability, and transparency, and do not honor them, you will be wearing different ethical clothing, like a wolf in a sheep clothing. That is the way this government is doing. Eating mensa from Wa. And Kaba, don't even worry yourself. Ghana is not worth dying for. Hey, you. And but before your time, you swan is Margaret Thatcher, any MPP for court case, as I'm sure you so.
Yo.
For
court case, no. Let me say, last Sunday, na MPP 4 day evidence, a court, no. I mean,
say electoral commission is a Yamudi in Kosiri. And there will be person in him. So,
na electoral commission, Monya Casano. One true ni mo aye no nko. Then one man may defended the wakano. Truckloads of evidence. It's
articulator.
Me say woman sit down from Fengum near the Nina Gusi this one Kabebwa Yinara.
And no the Supreme Court Oma Nyade.
And Kabebwa Yina paper kwa photocopies a car.
Nana Commerce Kosumo 300,000 Ghana cedis doing this photocopy.
20 sets of such huge reams of documents in Yanara. Ade. And memory. Laptops you are oppressive way naba. Simple disk.
Also Munya ICT literate.
Oh, that bay. Yeah, the court. Let them wade through it.
Don't many time I can't say anything.
Tough. Yet ye nimian case ye nimina swire. Na ye ba say ye be ma oral evidence. Nyame eya yadom ene na watch ya
16th.
Ene na watch Supreme Court ye twa ho say chem Awurade adom ti. Na ye yi no 1 na Ghana fo be hu say ye we evidence na ye ni evidence. Asem no court de meka no. Na kakra wo ne say Electoral Commission registration am koye wa abrochire ni kra ye hu say forgery mu bebere. Same name, same age, different sex, same address. Now, voters ID number no 5th number, ne last number, no. Almost all of them, and only a either see a yiba one, you drop it by one or add one. 5th digit and the last digit. Conco check is a boy. Yet the yanya je ashe nini name Nerade Bekasa. Margaret Thatcher. Asemwa
Obi send
David
Obi send email from London about
winter of discontent.
Yes. Margaret Thatcher here during her time. No, or say for so Saudi and Yenfe Bimraha.
Oh, me so pa forward the email, no ma'am. A text, no ma'am. Me so pa because we have to find lasting solutions to our problems.
Yeah.
Now, after all, Gracie Abrochimemu, she was the first and so far the only female prime minister. Or the MP for almost 20, or a prime minister for 11 years.
Almost 12 years, yeah.
Yes, almost 12 years. MP Nidio from 67 till 2000 year, several terms as MP. Na Jumaye and a man in Crawford still returning to power. Nanso nyo bia nye de obeye bia na yo bi de enti o kan anya kan e wo kan wa kan to opo mpa no ne handbag no shim ni say no okoba ne papa no a Methodist lay preacher enti the one description they gave her eye me depa ne say where is it I found it somewhere
Senka sans here to
oh
afu ani so
she was an amazing woman. Now, David Cameron, the kind fan who no, and say, and you know, na me heard, but may and also yeah, we have lost a great prime minister, a great leader, and a great Britain. A great Britain, great prime minister, great leader, and a great Britain. They cannot take pride in, no matter which side of the political divide you are on. Tony Blair, on the opposite side, a towering political figure. Towering. Penasemo, you have to give her that. And she solved the problems which the people had. She did her best to, even though after her term in office, now ordinary people cried to me only on one castle dying because we introduced legislation a man Crawford to me to one council houses. Practical things which are of practical benefit to the people. Yes, show we niama a 2 year day so or call war of Falklands. And held on to it, whether you like it or not, she held on to what was Britain's. She believed in her country, lived and died for her country. She was a woman of principle. That's why maybe new way. Timer, or country, Ted Heath. A prime minister no challenging and say wo near wo ye ninti me two ade so or corner office ko one amani asem me ba one manitri soup and free ni tables one henani does it really you lose no say sir ya be said the end this for nam catch me say ablekuma west me lose no me catch them say ya be
na ese say ni anu ko ya man minister obi a chire
acho ko bi sa ndc for no so mo kra ya oda me si ko bi sa won say ya oda so let's value the people and the politicians and the political leaders and the leaders we have. Ghana, there were people we can be proud of. Yeah, to the bia yen fa manyo sem ne ada petwa ne to nche obi ya de yen kansa yen pren yen kansa mo why ade.
Amen.
Thank you.
Lawyer Sampiali, yenwie ni enko time aso.
May she rest in
peace. Obi
peace.
bisam da me na me yedwuma wa he.
Enyi wana.
Obi bisam. Ka che mpakron da. Wa famous net him 1st March 1977. Kabana wa.
No, that was a year after.
So I've been around. Now, on a more serious note, NPP court the assignments on Mempeda Beka. Today, my position there, assignment court, I'm Mempeda Beka. But it's also instructive to know that yen amena usla yen how important the you keep to hand court, you keep it to hand presidents. The legal system is by and large a very conservative system, so that we don't create unnecessary hiccups and experiments.
We're more adopting modern systems.
Kaba.
Adopting modern systems.
You are in contempt. Kaba, you are in contempt.
Me contempt.
You are in contempt.
So I take a decision.
I
thought Moses.
How is that contempt?
The court make you pronouncement. You can criticize the judgment and not the judges.
I bench a chapter.
Oh, you are not in contempt. Where lawyer for me, no, see you are in contempt. See you are not in contempt.
For Margaret Thatcher.
Me o senior so.
At the bar?
Me any senior at the bar.
Oh, okay.
And to me see you are not in contempt.
I'm not sure.
No, for Margaret Thatcher,
Margaret Thatcher was a great leader. There are times exceptional leadership. Because if there was any other prime minister at the time of the Falkland Wars now, I don't know what would have happened. And especially and coincidentally, at that Thatcher in terms of crisis, liberal crisis, decisive. That is exactly what we need now. The president, I imagine you study the size of the cases in there. My other doctors wasn't if they are due a former one. But nobody, are you listening to me? Nobody has the right to take this country, especially our health system. Kaba, it can happen to you, it can happen to me. It's a matter of patient now. On other theaters is here like when Dr. Morfiano. Oh no, why are they?
The Bonnie or yeah, any dear.
And from our school now, Kaba. What was I will fear to school fees now, ma. Embrace the acquire exams. My farmer, why is a teacher for our back? Why are they? Montreal teacher for one someone I did. Imbira do that, I bang. Should do what is right. Know what is right, you will, sir. Or you're decisive there. Echo strike. You cannot be paid your salary. If your interest is on that allowances, go for it.
I'm surprised
if it is your allowances, go for the allowances. But as long as you are not coming to office and 10 days, you vacate your position. Rollins can't send me that could be. So I am here. Kaba. I would turn all the big hospitals into military hospitals. Seriously. Because you two Myanmar industrial disputes on jeopardize the health of the people of this country.
Military hospitals.
Rollins said it. Antina said 37 natural strike that. 37 natural strike that. There's some kind of national discipline now. And that's what Margaret Thatcher is being praised for today.
And a quote from Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. Metama Sundia director prompted me several times to say she was a great leader, a woman of principle, of determination, of conviction, of strength, a woman of greatness. She was a staunch friend of Israel and the Jewish people, and she inspired a generation of political leaders. I send my most sincere condolences to her and family, the government and people of Great Britain. And Kodane Trial Exams, Edwin Asante, Prince Asante, Esther Asante, Mobra, Samuel Asante, Multi TV. So I wish him all the best. Yedini Nasi and Asian Command lawyers, Sampi Ali, and Esla Usunyami Adoma, Wachana Ukwada, Okako Homeka crack. Na say about the women cost strike. No crab in an air for Tenase. Emir de Fisher Times. Yamin Shaw. Na Philippians 4 verse 8. And your Nasa Kania. Yamin Shaw.